You're listening to the Jay Bird Watching Podcast, the official podcast of jaysjournal.com and fansided.com. We are the official ballroom chat for everything Toronto Blue Jays baseball, from game highlights to rumors and all the stuff in between. Here's your host, Craig Borden, with co-hosts Jason Lyons and Liz McGuire. Now let's talk some Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Good evening, Blue Jays fans, and welcome to a very early edition of Jay Bird Watching for a Wednesday afternoon. But it is all good because we're going to have some fun and chit-chat here with the gang and Bob File. So first things first, let's go around the windows. Liz McGuire, how the heck are you doing?
I'm really good. I don't know if anybody in Toronto Blue Jays universe knows this, but we did in fact sign Vladimir Guerrero Jr. for so long. I'll be in menopause by the time he's gone. I'm like, I'm good with that. And also, I'm stoked that Springer is heating up, which is always a good sign when he's on the end of a mega deal that he's still hitting the ball.
There you go. Jason Lyons, buddy, how you doing?
Really good. Always happy when the Jays are in the American and we can sign Vladdy and I mean, it's just been plus. I know they were freezing their kazif off down there in Boston, but nice to see them playing
in a nutshell this time of year.
And baseball is getting into full swing for us, and it's just nice that spring last year was incredible in Vancouver, and this year it's been the absolute craps. So we're hoping for a change this weekend. Looks like you're going to change. We got two doubles to get weekend, so the boys are all fired up. And the Vancouver Canadians are kicking ass.
Right
They've
on.
only lost.
Yes, they are. I was just going to say, I've been to a Red Wings game already, and I froze my tuchus off. It's just that simple. So anyways, y'all haven't noticed we have a fourth member of the team tonight. Bob File, former Blue Jay, is joining us. Bob, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. It's good to see some Blue Jay fans on a podcast. It's kind of nice.
Yeah. Got plenty of them still rolling into the chat, it seems like, too. So hopefully we'll get some fun questions here while we're chit-chatting with everybody live tonight. And like I said, we're just going to talk some baseball and have some fun. And speaking of fun things first, I think I mentioned right before we went on the show that Jeff Fry, one of your old teammates, was on the show recently. And a stupid reoccurring bit that we've been doing when we have players on this show is we do pass this question. And unfortunately, you got one of your old teammates that probably knows you just a little too well, just like how Travis Snyder got Ricky Romero really good about how well he hit and how proud he was about being a pitcher that could hit. That's not where the question is, though. So apparently, Jeff Fry was your mentor, or at least hazer, during your rookie fun.
Hazer,
so
definitely
apparently
hazer.
He had... that doesn't shock me from what we had with Jeff last.
Yeah, mentor was more Quantrill. Hazer was Fry. I can say
that. So I'm guessing that's where the fun shenanigans are here. And you can confirm, deny any and all of this. You don't have to answer if you don't want to. But apparently there was a certain song that you sang on the bus. And there was a certain rookie outfit that you wore on the rookie stuff that year that we were told to ask you about.
Yeah, so Rapper's Delight. So if you remember the rap song Rapper's Delight, yeah, that was an ongoing theme. Because when I came up as a rookie, I was literally one of, I think, two rookies at the beginning of the year, me and Chris Mahalik. And so it was a veteran team in 2001. So it was it was all like, this is Hammer, Bob, and Chris at every moment. And and then halfway through the year, when some of the other rookies got called up, I think it was in September maybe, when the September call-ups came up, we all dressed up as Hooters girls, which probably wouldn't happen today in today's atmosphere. But yeah, and we had to walk around Times Square in Hooters outfits. And the picture's on my Instagram. If you follow me on Instagram, it's there. It's like me, Vernon Wells is in there, Felipe Lopez, Josh Phelps, ton of guys. So it's Chris Woodward, who's a Dodgers coach now.
It's even funnier.
Yeah,
that's great. So let's get talking about your career, because you had a heck of a ride getting to every level you ever ended up playing at. Because correct me if I'm wrong, you went from high school to Division II, then Division II, Division I, and then that's eventually where you got into the major leagues and your draft and eventually worked your way up. How was it like moving around from high school to college like that in your early days?
Well, no. So first of all, I went from high school to Division II, and that's where I stayed all 4 years. Division II, Philadelphia College of Textiles and Science, which is now Jefferson University, and they're actually nationally ranked. I just found out today, 14th in the nation, Division II. We weren't that good when I was there. We were okay, but yeah, it was a small Division II school, an engineering school, which I went for computer engineering. And I kind of got drafted out of there as a pitcher. I was a hitter. I was a third baseman in college. I didn't pitch a whole lot, handful of games, just out of necessity. And the Blue Jays, Ben McClure, who was a longtime Blue Jays scout, he sadly just passed away last year. He saw something, and at least it was a veteran scout that saw me, because otherwise I don't think anybody would have put a flyer out there. Be like, this guy can throw the ball hard. That's about it. And that's and then I jumped right into minor leagues, right in Medicine Hat, Alberta, which was a culture shock coming from Philly, to say the least. To say the least. What a great city, though. Fun time.
Yeah,
I've spent a lot of time. Nothing but good things to say about it. Great place.
It really is. I always say I wish it wasn't my first year playing there, because your first year you kind of don't know what's going on. You're kind of getting the feel of the land. But as a city, if that was like my second or third year in the minor leagues, it was a great city, good people, small. They love baseball because but that and ice hockey was huge there. But yeah, what a great little town.
Wait, Bob, were you pitching then, or were you still on third base?
It was interesting, because I got out to Medicine Hat, like, what was it, 2,500 miles away, and I was told I was going to go run with the pitchers, and I was like, run with the pitchers? I haven't ran more than 90 feet in years, and I'm running miles all of a sudden with the pitchers, and I'm dying. And I sat in the bullpen for almost 2 weeks before I even got in the game. And so they made me a pitcher. They said, if it doesn't work out, you can always go back to hitting. But that was kind of like their plan from the beginning, that they kind of let on a little bit when they signed me. They kind of said, you might pitch some too. Is that okay? And of course, my dad was like, yeah, I'll pitch. I'll do anything. Do anything.
That sounds familiar, Jason. Yeah, Jason's got the kiddos that are in the youth league, so we actually have a lot of youngsters that do listen to this show. So as far as that kind of thing goes, we always love to get that angle of going from high school to college or to baseball, all those kind of things. So was there anything in that time frame, like you said, you got thrown for a whirlwind going from, literally different sides of the ball here, but anything you remember fondly, or anything you would suggest to any of those kiddos that might be in that situation?
Yeah, I give a lot of advice, especially in the Philly area. The biggest thing is just to try to always play up a level. That's what I always say, because even though I played Division II, I guess the biggest takeaway for me was I was always big into education. It sounds so cliche, but I really was. I graduated with a computer science degree, and I went back to grad school afterwards. But having that, I was always big into analytics, which is interesting now, the way the game has changed so much, and really, really attacking the game from the mental side of it. And I think that was, I wasn't the best player, hands down. I wasn't the most talented, not even close. Like, there's guys I play with in A-ball that, there's still some guys today. I cannot believe they didn't even make it to Double-A, let alone the big leagues. So I think the biggest thing is, and the chances of making it. It's, I saw another tweet the other day about the amount of guys that have made the major leagues all time, and it blows my mind. It's like 20-some thousand ever in the history of the baseball. And you look at that,
there's some odds now that, especially with the minor league system being the way it is these days, it's changed so much since you were a player. My friends down in Bluefield are now in the independent league, so it's how it is. It's even smaller. We're talking fractions of a percent of who makes it into Major League Baseball. And I'm sorry if I interrupted you.
No, you make a good point. That's they consolidated all the minor league teams, which you can say it's better for guys that get into affiliated ball, because then they have more of a chance. But getting into affiliated ball is next to nearly impossible now, where before there was 50 rounds in the draft. You might get drafted. You might get signed as a minor league free agent. But yeah, the chances, I try to tell kids, you don't want to sound pessimistic, but you have to enjoy having fun playing baseball. And I see amateur sports today, it's so serious. It's so, all the time. And I feel bad for a lot of these kids, because a lot of them burn out if they're not great. And you should be having fun, because the chances, I always say, like, shoot for playing in college, a good school, look for what you want to do academically. And if you can play at that school, that's great, whether it's Division II, III, whatever it is. And, if you're that good, they say they'll find you, maybe. You have to have some luck involved. At my school, we had a guy 3 years prior to me that got drafted and played in the big leagues with the Cardinals. And if that didn't happen, the Cardinals, they would have never looked at my school ever. So it's just, the chances are so slim. Like, if I knew the numbers that I know now, like you just mentioned, Craig, like when I was playing minor league ball, even, I would have been like, oh my God, I'm never, because when you're in the minor leagues, at least if you're not a top 5 rounder, you're like, I'm playing for fun. I'm getting paid a little bit of money.
Yeah.
The chance of the major league dream is one, you're never going to make it. Like, I never thought I'd be in the major leagues ever. Like, I just thought, I'll just keep working hard, try to outwork everybody on the field at all times and see what happens. And luckily I got a few years in, and but it's tough. It's really tough, especially, I mean, amateur sports today are very challenging because it's so much pressure on a lot of kids. And I see some of the fun get sucked out of it sometimes.
Yeah, it's great that you have that kind of, like, one of the things that I like about this platform that we've sort of created, especially in the last, is we had a lot of guys on that had either had really long careers or had shorter ones. And it's interesting to me, and I always my kids are they play U15 AAA, and what we try and relay to these kids is that the educational part of what becoming a professional athlete is super important. You have to push that forward first, and then you can try and chase the ultimate. Like, being is it, like, there's 948 guys in the majors. You take being a Canadian and you then put that to like this amount of guys that drafted and all the rest of it. I mean, in reality, we can only play baseball up here for about 3 months out of the year, 4 if we're lucky.
If you're lucky.
So, when guys make it, you're like, wow, like, and you look at guys like Justin Morneau and guys who like Votto and guys who are really, really good. It's like you said, I feel like Justin's always said, he talks a lot here in Vancouver. He's from the area, and he's always said, it was school first and then hard work second that got him to where he was.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's so important for that.
It's true. I think one of the things I always preach to people, when I got to the big leagues, even throughout the minor leagues, some of the best players, and in the major leagues, it was the case for sure, were not the most talented. They were the most. They were able to handle the mental side of the game. Now I'm talking intelligence as well as emotional intelligence, like being able to handle the ups and downs and really handle the pressure. It's far more important than physical talent. Now, of course there's guys like physical, like the Vernon Welleses of the world, so naturally talented. I mean, that guy could hit out of bed. But then there's guys, everyone else. That's the small 0.01% of players. And I think longevity in the game that blows my mind too. I always say any guys that can play over 5 to 10 years. I see guys playing 10, 15 years. I'm like, that's just amazing to me. Staying healthy and being able to kind of grind it out, because baseball's such a long season, especially when you're going through the minor leagues, when at least it used to be where you would play winter ball. It was nonstop, like high intensity, and you're just trying to stay healthy and then perform as well. And then in the minor leagues, that we talked about Medicine Hat. I mean, the bus rides in Medicine Hat, that league at the Pioneer League at the time was crazy, because I was closing for that team, and we would go from Idaho Falls to Medicine Hat, straight shot, and then play a game. I mean, it was like a 20 or 18-hour bus ride, and then you're getting off and playing a game with no sleep for 2 days, and you have to perform because you're just a number on a paper at that point. There was no YouTube and watching videos of guys, so it's just the grit and determination. You just and you learn a lot. You learn discipline. Justin Morneau, I mean, what a name! What a blast from the past. I mean, I came up with him, and I used to face him in Rochester all the time. That was the Twins. I mean, that guy, he was something else. Oh my goodness. I mean, and he made minor league pitchers look like, it was like playing against little leaguers. It was unbelievable.
Yeah. And then watching him and Mauer together was even more wild, because they both played here, and I'm pretty sure you had to face them as a 3 and a 4 hitter.
Yeah, they had Justin Kubel too. That was another guy. Kubel, he played some big league time. That guy he couldn't get him out. So yeah, it was it's interesting, and there's a lot of guys, like names I remember, that they never even make it to the big leagues, and they were just as incredible in Double and AAA as those guys. But
Bob, it's super interesting. You would say we were talking about the first round draft picks in the MLB that never made it. Like, I mean, it's an astronomical number. It's not like 50 or 60, 100.
Yeah,
like it's like 3,000 guys. Like it's to me, it's one of those things where, like my kids are 13, and like for me, reference point is hockey, because hockey is so insane in this country. Yeah. And what we've done, to your point of not only taking the fun out of it, but we've now see travel ball. This is what's happening in the US now too, is they're taking minor sport out of it. So they're saying, if you don't play on this travel ball, you're never going to get seen. And and this really upset me actually last year when I heard this. We went down to a tournament in the US with a bunch of Canadians that met each 4 days prior to playing the first game in the tournament. We played a team that was on their 27th tournament of the year together. They were not going to school. They were 11 years old. They were out of school, being homeschooled, and driven to these tournaments every weekend. And we couldn't understand. Like they were not a team. They had a couple of skilled athletes. And in 4 days, we were able to make a better and understand how people can't just grab the depth of it. Doesn't matter if your kid's playing $10,000, every 3 double ball. It's the work and the kids. It's not the dumb coach and the guy who says he's going to get your kid somewhere. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I don't know what the fix is for it either. I just had this conversation last week with someone, and we've gone so far down the rabbit hole that the dollars that are involved with like the perfect games of the world, and the kids at that age, they have friends, they like the friends, they like that's what I remember the most from all my professional and college days. I mean, it's the friendships that are made and the bonds with guys that I still have to this day. And you make those at those levels too. And so you go into those travel leagues, you're spending a ton of time together. It's really good for the kid in that aspect. Like I said, the one positive is like they might be traveling around, but I mean, I never left the Philadelphia city when I played Little League ever. Never even went to New Jersey, which is right across the bridge. Now these kids go to Georgia, they go to Florida. I mean, for an experience, to have that type of, just culture shock, getting out of the city and going different places is pretty cool for kids if you can afford it. I mean, that's a whole nother thing. But then again, how many kids are getting lost from the inner city that don't have the money for these teams?
Right.
Like, there's so many talented kids. All the kids I came up with, I played in the inner city. I mean, those you would never even find them today.
No.
We actually have an interesting comment to this comment in the chat window here that here in the States, if you're not on an AAU travel team or anything like that, and here in Rochester, New York, we get one Ernie Clement for just as many people that never even go anywhere, and you almost got to move to these places where
I see those comments. It's interesting. That's interesting because I would say 20 years ago when I played, it was way harder. If they think it's hard now, it was next to impossible because the college season started earlier down south and out in California. But now there's some parity now with college, at least in college with Southern teams and like the Northeast teams they're competitive. You're seeing I can talk from the Division II level, especially. I coached the Division I level for a little bit, but Division II, there's teams from the Northeast of the United States going to the College World Series now in Division II, which never happened ever before, and they're winning. Yeah. So I think there's more parity now. Like there's much more indoor facilities. I was saying when I was training in the off season, even before my first year, before I had any money and I had to couldn't go down the spring training early. I would throw in a parking lot with a ton of snow on the ground behind a diner where I grew up. And now there's facilities everywhere where you can go facilities like, oh, you're a pro player. You can go work out here. Where back then, I had no money. I was a pro player and I was throwing in a diner parking lot every off season to get ready for the season. And that was in Double-A.
Our buddy in the chat here has a similar story that apparently where he lived in Brooklyn, there was one Little League field that really was the big mecca.
Oh, yeah. Sand and the rocks. I played on glass, asphalt. In Fishtown and over in Philly and PA. And there's towns, Port Rich. I played in some. That's what I always said. Some of the fields I played on, especially being an infield, I was a shortstop in high school, a third baseman in college. It's like if you can play on those fields, I would get to some of these southern fields or some of these fields in the pro ball. I thought, these were majestic. Even in Medicine Hat Stadium was like, for me coming out of Division II school, I thought it was incredible. Where some guys I played at Florida State, played at Texas, they were like, "Oh, what is this? I'm downgrading from college to a minor league stadium." Where now, now the stadium, everything. I think there's more access to information and to baseball than there's ever been, which is good, but it also can, has its pros and cons as well. Yeah. Information overload.
Bob, when did you think that like the major leagues could happen? Like that it was like a real possibility for you?
So Double-A, I had a really good. I was lucky because I went from high A ball with Rocket Wheeler, who was a manager in the Blue Jays system forever, and he made me a closer. And then when I got moved to Double-A the next year, he became the manager of Double-A. So I already had it. So he automatically had trust in me, and it was a good thing. It was luck too. And then after that season, I got more than 3/4 of the season. I got moved up to Triple-A, And I guess it was a test for me. I didn't know at the time. You're naive. You don't know any better. You just go up there. And when I was in AAA, Matt DeWitt was closing. So I came up as kind of like Mel Queen was the pitch coach trying to teach me cutters and things. And Matt DeWitt got hit with a line drive my second game there and broke his leg. He was out for the year. And they made me the closer with 25 games left. And
wait, how scared? Were you scared?
No, I wasn't, because it was it's not scared. It's not nervous. I mean, I can tell you the only time I've been nervous in pro ball ever, and that was in the big leagues, my first outing. But it's more just pressure to perform. And here's the thing: I often talk about first, second, third rounders. Sometimes I think they had more pressure than I had, because I was a 19th round draft pick. I had a comp sci degree in my back pocket, and in my mind, being 21 years old, I'm playing with house money here. I work as hard as I possibly can. If I make it, great. If I don't, I wasn't supposed to make it. That's the way I looked at it. Making it would be a tremendous feat, but not making it was what everybody expected. You're just a 19th rounder roster filler. Whereas first rounders, they have the pressure. They've got millions of dollars invested in them. They need to be in the big leagues to help the big league club. So that's a whole nother type of pressure. But for me, after that AAA season I fished in 2000, and then I went to the Arizona Fall League, and that's when I played for John Gibbons, who was a Blue Jay manager.
Legend.
And that's the first time I met him. He was my manager in Arizona Fall League, and he was tremendous. And talk about a confidence builder. I didn't know him at all. He was in the Mets organization, I think, at the time. But I had closed in the Arizona Fall League, and I was really pitcher of the year in the Arizona Fall League, which I didn't think I pitched well there, but I guess I did to scouts and things like that. And it was after that I got protected. I got put on the 40-man. But after that season, John Gibbons said, "I'll see you next year in the big leagues when we play in interleague." I was like, "Get out of here." And
go.
But I think that's when I really thought. And then when I went to spring training the next year with the big league team, Buck Martinez became the manager. And that was really good for me, because Buck hadn't been in the dugout in years. He was an analyst, but he also, for him, it was okay, if I like a guy, I like the way he plays, I'm going to pull for him. I have 20 years of big league experience. They're going to listen to me. And it's not like he's this old curmudgeon that was around the game forever, Fergozzi, to be honest. Fergozzi hated younger players. He would not call up any younger players. I was in Double-A having a year of my life, probably the best I've ever thrown ever, and I never got called up. And so I think having Buck there, Buck, the confidence, every bullpen I threw, Buck came over to watch. I had a feeling that something could happen, and then it was becoming more real. And then my agent was in my ear saying they were really well connected. And he's like, "You're going to be in the big." Dave Stewart was the assistant GM. He was saying good things. So you start to hear things, but you still don't believe it until it actually happens, kind of type deal. So, yeah, it's like it was yesterday. It's crazy because it's been 20 some years.
I have a question, a little off topic for you, Bob. As a guy from Philly, were you a Phillies guy?
Yes, and It's interesting.
Who was your favorite Philly though?
Growing up, probably. Mike Schmidt.
It's his guy.
I was the third baseman. Mike Schmidt, probably that whole era of Kruk when he played, and Mickey Morandini, Milt Thompson, that 93 Phillies. So it's such a small world, right? Because 93 Phillies, Tito Gaston is the Toronto head coach, and he's the bench coach when I get to the big league. So I was this is wild. I was a huge Phillies fan in high school. Obviously, the 93 World Series was soul crushing. And then after I got done playing, it's funny, I was just talking about this yesterday. After I got done playing, I didn't watch really any big league baseball for probably, COVID kind of drew me back in, but 15 years. I didn't go to a game. I had no interest.
Were you just over it?
I love how I was here's the issue, and this is what I figured out finally what it was. Because I was thinking, I've watched every Phillies game this year and last year probably. And I'm really into them. I'm really enjoying the game the way it's there's a pros and cons, right? But it's because I don't know any of the players personally anymore. I know coaches, but I don't have any connection to any Philly. When I grew up, when I came up through A-ball, we lived literally neighbors with all the Phillies guys over in Clearwater. And I knew them all as friends, and good and bad, right? Most guys were pretty solid, and when you know guys so well personally, even the ones you're not the fondest of, or you faced them a ton of times, it's really hard. It was just hard for me to watch. It was just, I don't know. I did not enjoy it, but I love college baseball. So I would go to college. I coached college for a couple of years. I love college. I love the amateur game. I love high school sport, baseball. So, but literally the last couple of years, I've really Like I had the Phillies on. I don't miss a game if I'm home. It's on, and I'm like I can talk about the Phillies like in depth about players, and it's I know a lot of the league. I actually bought the MLB TV package this year, which is crazy.
Same.
Yeah. The Phillies are my second team. I do love watching them. I love watching Bryce Harper play. I did like his off-season TikToks, making banana bread.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he's such a weird guy. And I like how he's invested
Jeff Harper
in the city of Philadelphia. Like he's got a tattoo. He just took cleats the other day, the Fanatic. I like that whole crew.
That's great.
And I hope that Harper gets a ring.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, though, Toronto. I mean, I'm obviously indebted to Toronto forever. I mean, it changed the course of my life. And the city, I'm still have friends up there. I haven't been back, which is crazy because Scott Cassidy. I don't know if you remember Scott Cassidy. He played a little bit for Toronto. We were roommates all throughout the minor leagues. We're still close friends. He's living in Syracuse, and he just went out there with his kids, and haven't been up because it's I thought I'd go up there for work or something like that, but I love what they've done with the field. I mean, it's incredible now. It looks like a brand new stadium. I still call it the Sky Dome. I have called it the Sky Dome forever.
Sky Dome forever.
Always the Sky Dome.
Always.
I mean, that's the best name at all ever.
It feels like a ballpark. Like it's like a ballpark now instead of a multi-use stadium.
It's pretty awesome. It really is. I was watching the game the other night. They were playing. Who were they playing? Because I was trying to
Boston. Yeah, it was probably.
They opened against Baltimore, right? Yeah, it was Baltimore. Because I was wondering where Gunnar Henderson was. I'm like, I like that kid. I'm like for Baltimore, the shortstop. But I was looking at the stadium. I'm like, they fixed the bullpens. I mean, I love what
it's sick. The behind the visiting bullpen is bleachers, and you could sit there for free. It's general admission, and you were like, I was right in the glass against Gunnar Henderson, and like Adley Rutschman was there, like just like watching them stand around. You're like,
it's pretty
cool. It is super cool. And like you can shout.
Yeah, that's how a lot of stadiums are. Yeah, like a lot of them now. That's all I say. We used to go to Camden Yards when I was in high school when it first opened, and we would be all over the guy. That's why I said when I played, and I'm in the outfield during batting practice, and people are yelling at me. I'm like, I thought it was the funniest thing ever because it's the same thing I did. I was like, this is great. I love getting heckled. Like Seattle, you're Seattle. You warm up, and the fence is like right here at Safeco. And the fans are screaming at you, and I couldn't keep a straight face. I'm like cracking up. This is the funniest thing ever.
I've got a great story about Seattle because of where the dugout is, or the bullpen is. My one son Jet is like at 13. He's a baseball encyclopedia. He's played MLB The Show. He knows everybody, the whole works. So we went to a game. I think it was last year, and we were walking by, and he's like, "Dad, there's Julio, whatever the hell his name is, the back catcher for the Rangers." He leans over and he's like, "Hey, Julio," and he looks up at him like, "How in the hell do you know who I am?" And he's like, "Here, kid." He throws him a ball. He takes his bat. He doesn't even bat. He has batter's gloves. He throws them up. He's like, "What else can I give you, kid? Like, how would you with a mask on?" And to your point, it's. I feel like that's such a like the guy that heckles in San Francisco with the hilarious,
Oh my God! There was a guy in Oakland. I wonder if you're saying guy from Oakland. There was a guy in Oakland.
Yeah, the guy that's.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
Probably do your taxes on time, you bum. Yeah.
He knew everything about everybody. He knew about my family. I'm like, this guy. I'm like, oh my.
And I feel like that's something that's unique to baseball. Like, I mean, take the Yankees and probably the Mets out of this argument, but when you go to most maybe Boston, but when you go to most places, there is a level of respect for the other team, the other players, and all the rest of it from the fans. And I've been to a lot of stadiums as a Jays fan. I've worn my Phillies gear to some stadiums. And I've never been hassled. I've never had anything said to me. In fact, when I wear the Mike Schmidt shirt, I get nothing but compliments. I have so many, like people will come like 50 feet over and they're like, "Where'd you get that jersey?" And I'm like, I just have it. It's the best. So
we love Schmitty.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about some of the. I mean, I never had that. I always loved pitching at Yankee Stadium because it was so loud, and the fans were never. I never thought the fans were cruel there, like I expected. I always heard the stories. New York, it was Baltimore, Boston, and Philly was brutal. Even though I was from Philly, Philly was brutal, and I got tossed out of Philly out of a game, and I gave my first major league home run in Philly. It was nuts. But yeah, I mean, Baltimore is one of the toughest. And Baltimore and Boston, you feel like when you're pitching that the fans are on top of you. At least the older stadium. I don't know any of the new ones, but they're top places. You can hear everything too. And
Everything.
it's just where New York was so loud and so it would kind of fired you up. I love pitching in New York because it was so loud and they were so crazy, but you couldn't hear specific things like, throw another ball or like ball 4, ball 5. Like they just, it's
how good is that
funny.
college that does the ball 5, ball 6?
I know. That's what I just thought of when I said it.
Shattered. You'd be
like,
shattered as a kid.
This is hilarious. I know, especially as a kid that's like a little shaky, like mentally. Oh my God, most.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
5.
So good.
That's great.
So
That's funny.
Liz, did you have another question? It sounded like you had something.
No, I just want to know, like, okay, because I read a story of you getting booed in Philly. Like,
oh man,
were you sad? Like, it's like, again, like that's your home, that's your crew, it's your home team. Were you not like, I'm one of you, but I'm one of you?
Well, it's funny. My goal prior to that, we talked to going back to what we talked about earlier. Like, could you believe you made it to the big leagues? Whatever. My goal, I knew we were playing in Philly at the All-Star break in interleague play. That's when interleague play just started, really, in 2001. And my goal was like, if we can get up by it was right after the All-Star break. I was like, if I can get up by then, it'd be great to be in Philly. That would be like a dream. Veteran Stadium. It was Veteran Stadium at the time. I mean, it's a dream, right? But I wound up being up the whole year. And by mid-season, like the All-Star break, I went home. So it was hilarious. I went home. I'm living in Philly with my parents. I'm like at home. And then I'm like, all right, Dad, I need to go down to the stadium to work. I have to go to the vet. Can you drop me off? My dad dropped me off the players' entrance. And then I get in the first night. There's 3-game series. I get in the Phillies were good that year too. And we were decent. And I got out of the jam, whatever, and it was good. I was like, all right, I pitched in Philly, great. And then I got in the next night, and I gave up. I remember it like it was yesterday. I hadn't given up a home run the whole first half, and I gave up. I had Scott Rowland 3-2, and I kept throwing him sinker after sinker after sinker, and he kept fouling off. I'm like, and then Castillo called a changeup, and I threw like 5 changeups all year. I'm like, okay, maybe I'll fool him.
Maybe I'll miss it.
And I literally he got out in front. And then he hooked it, and it hit the foul pole. And I knew it was gone when he hit it. I was mad, please go foul. And then he hit it out. But the reason I got booed in Philly was Travis Lee came up next. And people don't realize, they see the highlight that's out there, and it looks like I drilled Travis Lee on the very first pitch, and I did not. I threw a slider down and in, and he ripped it off the wall foul. It was also almost a back-to-back home run. I was so angry. I was like, you got to be kidding me right now. So my goal was the way pitchers used to pitch, maybe some still do, but I was going to knock him down. Like I wanted to knock him right on his ass. Like I was like, you're not going to take swings like that. Like it's just not going to happen. And I was trying to throw hard in, knock him down, and I hit him. And it mayhem. Like the Phillies came out of the dugout. I thought there was going to be a bench clearing brawl. I was like, I didn't know what was going on because we already had a warning. I forgot because Delgado got hit 3 times already that game. And I hit, and I got thrown out right automatically, got tossed. And but the funny thing was, I left a couple hundred tickets. Like I knew a bunch of the Phillies guys. They gave me all their tickets for family and friends. I knew a bunch of back then we would get 6 tickets a game. We didn't have to pay anything for them. And so all the Phillies guys I knew from coming out with them gave me all their tickets. It was really cool. And I had literally all back at home plate was all people I knew from high school and college, and my parents, everybody. And I thought there was going to be a bench clearing brawl. When I drilled, the boos were so loud. And I look back on it now, I think it's the funniest thing ever. It's like, what a great moment. And I literally had to walk off the field, and I didn't know. I never got ejected in my life out of a game. I get ejected out of the big league game. I'm walking in the dugout. I sit next to Jose Cruz Jr. in the dugout. And I'm sitting next to him, and I'm laughing. I'm like, this is unbelievable. What just happened? It's so loud, the boos. And Jose Cruz, he's a jokester. He's a funny guy. He's laughing. He's like, this is your hometown? They hate you here. And he kept, and then he's like, you can't sit in the dugout. You had to go in the club. I was like, I don't know. I got the umpire's like, get out of the dugout, like yelling at me. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know. I'm like, what am I doing? But yeah, no, it's funny. Even like 20 some years later, it's like, what a highlight. I almost wish we did have a bench clearing brawl because like I always say, my college friends, they're going to sit behind home plate and watch me get, pummeled. I'm like, that ain't gonna happen. They were gonna have fans on the field. It would have been what a great story. What a great video that would have been. But yeah, no, it was wild, dude. Just getting booed off the field. I remember tipping my cap to the fans because I was like, this is awesome. I thought it was the best thing ever. That's amazing. I was pissed. I gave up my first major league home run, but
yeah. Did you just say you did a curtain call while you were getting booed off the field?
If you ever see the full highlight, like I have it at my parents' house, but it's not. Literally, I come off the field and I go like this. I did on my way off. I couldn't believe what was happening. It was one of those moments where I'm like, what is going on here? The boos were so loud, and that was Veteran Stadium. So that was the house that Mike Schmidt built. Really, it was.
It was like an atrium. I've been in that ballpark before.
I mean,
that kept the sound in. It didn't go out the roof.
Yeah, and that's when the fans were.
In.
It's not like Citizens Bank now where you have family going with like young kids. This was like hardcore, almost like Eagles fans, like at the Phillies games back then, which was wild. But yeah, crazy memories.
That's great. So, I lost it. So now you ended up playing that whole season with the Blue Jays. You actually did opening day and everything in Toronto in the Sky Dome?
I came up
I was going to say, I thought you missed it by
into
just that much.
Yeah, 7 days in the season. Well, I was supposed to leave with the team, and it was kind of disappointing because Buck said I made the team and everything like that. But because it was a veteran team, roster decisions, there was no room, and I had options. So they actually sent me to Double-A, which I was like, come on. They're like, it's warmer there than Syracuse is. You'll pitch a couple games, you'll come back up. And when you're telling the 24, I was like, yeah, right. Call me back. I'm gonna be stuck in Double-A all year. What if I pitch bad a couple games? I didn't know. And then my agent reassured me like Lance Painter was going on the DL, but they just didn't put him on the DL yet. And then Painter went on DL. They called me up, and the game I got called up. It's pretty wild. It's at the Sky Dome, and I'm out there, checking it out. I don't know if you look back. I think it was like April 12th of 2001. The Sky Dome roof fell in, and they canceled the game. It was the first game ever canceled at the Sky Dome. That would have been my big league debut. My first game. I was so tired from traveling all day, and I was in Tennessee somewhere, southern Tennessee, and I had to get to the field, and I had no idea what was going on. The adrenaline was like gone, and I remember the roof falling in. They're like, all right, game's canceled. I'm like, what? The roof fell in? It's a dome. How do you get canceled with a dome? So it's wild.
Did you call in a mechanic like the Bull Durham thing instead of just raining out the field with a hose? You just called in a guy with a get a wrench.
I know, right? Yeah, I know.
So you end up, like I said, you worked your tail off. You got to the majors. You had a really good 2001 season out of that bullpen with the Blue Jays, and you got to play on, to your point, a veteran team.
Yeah,
all these great guys. You had, up and comers. You had, had Roy Halladay, Carlos Delgado, like you mentioned, your tormentor Jeff Fry. All these guys. What do you remember about that team and being on that team? Because that was a team that Blue Jay fans actually gravitated toward, and we thought we were tipping in the right direction. Obviously, the end of the year was a little rougher than the rest of the year. So it is what it is.
Yeah, no, it was. I mean, for me, it was great. It was. Oh, my standing desk just started. Yeah, for me, it was a great experience because being an older team. Because when I came up with the minor leagues kind of quickly, I was jumping levels, but I was also jumping leagues with a lot of older guys too. And they were all new people to me. Like AAA was a lot older team too. And I was like, all right. But once I got comfortable there, and when I got to the big leagues, I knew Paul Quantrill from spring training. He was great. I mean, he introduced himself to me. He had spent time with me in spring training. I mean, this is before big league camp. This is in 2000. Like he would come over, but he would sit with me and we would talk about sinkers all day because that's what we both threw. And so when I got up there, it made me feel comfortable because I knew him. I had just been in spring training with them all too. So I kind of got to know some guys. And the team was, Kelvin Escobar, who I still keep close touch with today, Chris Woodward. I mean, there's guys, up on that team that I'm just like really close with today. And they were just really good to me besides the hazing. There were some rough ones on that team too, some rough guys, but, I'm not talking about Fry either. Fry was so little. I could have just squished Fry. He was a little guy, but he was so genuine. Like he had fun with it, right? He had genuine, like he did a lot of good things for me in terms of like, because a lot of things new. The big league game, you go from AAA, you go to 5A. There should be 4 more levels before the big league. So it's so different. So I think, I just rambled on forever there, but I think ultimately just the team itself. It's a funny story. In Syracuse, we wore black cleats. And in Toronto, they wore blue cleats. So you get up to Toronto, and I was like, all I have is black cleats. And they were all out of my size, like in the club, like the clubhouse manager said. So I'm like, what am I going to do? And Delgado gives me a pair of his cleats to wear. And they have his number. His number was 20. What was his number? I forget Delgado's number. 29. But it was on his cleats.
Or 21, I think.
20-something, right? And it was on his cleats. So I wore those cleats for the first month of the season with his number on them. I wore them the whole first month because they were so comfortable. These are awesome. These are great. Great cleats.
Did you give them back or did you keep them?
No, he had probably 500 pair every week that he went through. Come on. Delgado, me, I had to like get holes in my cleats before I got new cleats. But yeah, I mean, that team was what a great team to be a part of, because the subsequent years, besides injuries and just, I went from like 24 years old, by far the youngest guy on that team before Vernon got caught up. And then it was like by 3 years later, I was the oldest guy on the team at 27 years old or 28. Like I was one of the older guys on the team. It was just weird. That was like the dark days of Toronto. Those couple of years there where they changed the uniforms, they were ugly. Those black, I thought they were terrible.
This thing, but I just printed out because it shows I'm a true fan because I have.
Yes, I mean that's terrible. Yeah, it's not bad. That it was paired with like a blue hat.
Change it to the real colors. It's blue.
You have the old logo. That was the logo on your hat, Craig, that I had when I came up, and then that one. That's the new uniform. I mean, last 10, 15 years, whatever it's been, their uniforms are awesome. I love them. Awesome. I mean, they're phenomenal. Yeah, I love all the Blue Jays stuff now. It's really clean, very real. A lot of the uniforms in the big leagues are pretty solid. But
when they switched from the black to the blue, it was like the whole city changed. The whole vibe around the Jays changed.
Sure.
It's like they're back. Because I call those one the Angry Bird black sparkle jerseys. It's like when they went back to in the stadium, they were just called Jays. Not the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
Jays.
Yeah.
And it was the attitude, like the wrestling, it was the attitude era of baseball. But it was like, I remember when they launched those jerseys, like the whole city, like the clouds parted.
Yeah, I mean, it's I mean, I couldn't agree more. I mean, it was a rough couple of years there. They had a new GM come in, JP Ricciardi, who I can never say anything negative about because he gave me every opportunity. He liked me a lot. But Gord Ash left, and I had like a tight bond with Gord. And then we had new ownership come in with Rogers and all that things. So a lot of things happen on the business side behind the scenes where, you know, being that I didn't know any better, but you see a lot of the shakeup with the team and moving salaries and things like that. And just, you see, like at the big league level, like at least we were competitive in 2001. Like we could play with anybody. We were pretty good. We started the season rock solid, but I kind of got spoiled. I was a rookie. I didn't know any better. But then you see the subsequent years where it's like, oh, because then I wound up signing with the Cardinals, not to get ahead, and then you see what a real winning organization looks like. Like I've spent my whole career with the Blue Jays, and when I went to the Cardinals, it was like, wow, this is why they win every year. Like you see, there's stark differences. And I know the Blue Jays went along that run where they brought in Gibby, and they had, I mean, Anthropoulos, whatever his name is, he's in Atlanta now. I mean, that guy's a mastermind behind the scenes. So they had that run. When I watched the Blue Jays for a little bit, that was an exciting team with Jose Bautista and those guys. It was just fun to watch, and the Sky Dome, knowing the stadium and things like that. So I think. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I still keep an eye on Toronto just as a city and obviously baseball. I mean, as a city, I always said if it was in the U.S., I would have probably moved there. I mean, being in Canada was a little tricky with work and you need authorizations and things like that. But I mean, the city is probably the best city I've been to in North America, hands down.
It's better than Medicine Hat.
A little bit.
It's a tie.
Medicine Hat has better bugs, better mosquitoes, and the
Medicine Hat is often called the Toronto of Alberta.
It's true. I think the fishing is better, perhaps.
Hey, Bob.
It was a little warmer, a little funner than Syracuse and Rochester and everything here on the 90 tour.
Yeah. One of the questions we like to ask all the guys who've been in the majors is, aside from obviously Veteran Stadium held a real special spot in your heart to play in, what was your favorite stadium you played in other than that?
So there's aesthetically pleasing and nice facilities, and then there's like performance on the field. So like for me, like Yankee Stadium was probably performance-wise, like being on the field, pitching Yankee Stadium was the best. The old Yankee Stadium, I mean, it was crazy. It was just because I came in, they did the same thing every seventh inning. I would come in, like Cotton Eye Joe would play, and it's like I pitched there so much that I remember like it was yesterday, and just like the way that stadium felt. I mean, it was an awesome place to play. Now, in terms of aesthetics, like there's been a lot of new stadiums, but like San Diego's new stadium, Petco, whatever it's called now, that was the first year in 2000. Was it 2001 or 4? I don't know what year it was. Right.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, it was unbelievable. That place was so nice, and that was one of the new kind of the new ballparks that were being popped up. But that city in itself, San Diego, is pretty incredible in terms of like everything there is pretty. I mean, coming from Philly, like a northeast part of the country. I mean, obviously, I'm biased towards like Fenway. Everybody says, "Well, what about Fenway?" And I always say, Fenway. The first time I went there was the coolest thing ever. You get to go inside the scoreboard. All the visiting players sign their name on the wall. It's pretty awesome. But after that, Fenway stinks. Like Fenway is a dump. I mean, literally, they might have fixed it up, but honestly, Fenway,
I don't like sitting like this
room,
when I'm watching a ball game, personally.
Yeah, there's first of all, you leave tickets for people. They're stuck behind poles, and you're the visiting team. And then the locker room. I shared a locker with 4 rookies. One locker in the big leagues. I'm in this locker. Like there's 4 of us sharing a locker. We couldn't even all fit. The whole team couldn't fit in the locker room at the same time.
Hilarious.
You had to go out in the tunnel or in the dugout. It was hilarious. But I know they've done some upgrades. They had to. I mean, but yeah, after the first time, pitching there was hard because they had the green monster. I'm a sinker baller. All these lefties were hitting little bloopers that were going off the top of the wall. I'm like, this is unbelievable. It was the worst pitcher's park ever, too. I mean, it was unreal. But yeah, a lot of good memories.
So I'm going to use this as a spin-off here because we actually, in the almost 100 people we have in the chat listening to the Fun Here in the Cheap Seats, one of our frequent flyers, Michael Borland, what was the biggest difference you had off the field between the minor leagues and the majors back when?
Wow. I mean, the one thing for me, and it's like, it's funny because I have friends that never made it close to the big leagues, and they should have been, but they couldn't handle all the off the field things. Like you're basically free reign. You're basically in college again without any academics to worry about. And you're making, some guys have money from signing bonuses. So guys live it up. Like they're like, I just have to play the next day. I can go out all night. I wasn't a non-social person. Like I went out and I had fun occasionally, but I didn't, if I knew there was a small chance of me pitching, especially in the big leagues, I didn't go anywhere near my bed. I would just go to bed. And that was my thing. But the biggest difference between the minor league and major leagues, now I spent probably equal time in both, if you look at that, but I felt like I spent a lot more time in the minor leagues, is the friendships you make in the minor leagues. Like I am really close to about 5 guys that came up in the minor league. I often said it's an extension of college. You make good friends in college, 3-4 years, or university, but in minor leagues you play all these years and you see these guys every year after year. So I think the biggest difference is the bonds you make with guys in the minor leagues, because you have nothing. I mean, I made $750 before taxes a month in medicine at my first year. I cleared, after like host family fees, I think I cleared $110 every 2 weeks. So you're scrapping by. I mean, in Dunedin, I live with 6 guys. I mean, with no refrigerator. I mean, things like that. Like you create bonds that like you have for life. I mean, I literally just got a call from Brian Bowles this morning. I know Brian Bowles had a cup of coffee with Toronto. He's a good friend of mine. But it's like we keep in touch today. I mean, it's like the friendships you make. At the big leagues, it becomes as fun as the big leagues is, and how luxurious it is, the travel, the hotels. I mean, there's nothing comparable in my life to this day of some of the luxuries you see in the big league life. But it's a business, and if you don't perform, you're gone. Where in the minor leagues is more about development. You could be gone, but it's more about if you have a couple bad outings, somebody's there to kind of hold your hand and kind of get you to the next level to make sure that doesn't happen again. The big leagues, you have a bad outing, especially me. I've had a bad outing. I was scared to death I'd be sent down the next day if I didn't do good the next outing. Like, it was always constantly chasing that. And anything off the field was not going to happen to interfere with that for me. But again, like just the bonds you create in the minor leagues, I mean, it's gotten better from what I hear, but it's still like you're roughing it. There's no off days in the minor leagues. There used to be no off days at all, like none. And so you're constantly at the field with the guys and things like that. So you create more of a it's hard. I'm sure guys in the big leagues say the same thing, but I didn't play 10 years in the big leagues, right? Like once you're there, you sign guaranteed deals like Guerrero just signed. Yeah. I mean, he'll have some good friends after 14 more years. Right there. I know, 14 years. Like I'm curious to see if he holds up. I don't know about that, but I mean, talk about natural talent. We'll
find out.
Good bloodline there.
Hey, I faced his dad. Be all set.
Yeah. I remember I faced his dad. I threw a ball so far outside, and I thought it was going to go to the backstop, and he hit it into a ground out. I was like, "What?" Like it literally was going in the other batter's box, and I thought it was going to be a pass ball. I was like, "Oh no, we're getting ready to back up the plate." There was a guy out there, and he grounded it out the short. Like he pulled it. I'm like, "This is unbelievable."
Well, his dad was famous for hitting balls that bounced in front of home plate for home runs.
It's unreal. Talk about talent. Oh.
Yeah. Just crazy.
Genes.
Wild.
Yeah, right?
So you touched on something that I would guarantee that 90% of our listeners have no clue of, and that it's only because I only know this, and I know these two know about this because we talked to a lot of minor league players and stuff, the host family thing. Yeah. That is something that a lot of people don't know about because you're a young kid, you don't have a ton of money, you're playing in a small town. The reason I know this is because I've been to Bluefield, West Virginia for the Orioles and Blue Jays because I'm friends with the announcer. So, but in the events of the day, that's a part of the game that is, to your point, it's lost probably for the better at the end of the day, but that is something that you basically got a taste of home cooking while you were in the minor leagues.
That was hard for me because I just lived on my own in college, and I get out to Medicine Hat, and you're talking. I mean, I don't know how to say it. Like country living, like it's different than Philly, like a lot different than Philly. And I get out there, and they were the nicest people ever. And they had a small daughter that was like 12 at the time. But I mean, it was strange. Like you're living with a host family, and you're like in their basement, and me and my roommate had like beds down there, and it was like, all right, we gotta go to the game. It's just weird. And then we go on road trips, and the 12-year-old would be crying, missing us. And I'm like, this is weird. Like I don't know. It was just odd. But there were such nice people that did it. But again, they're also getting paid for it too. I mean, pretty big chunk of my check that went to a host family. I'd rather just, but they were good people. I mean, it's funny that I keep in touch with the dad. Randy, his name was Randy, and he hits me up on Facebook once in a while. Hey, how you doing? He's like a big motorcycle guy, like super great people. It was really hard because I lived with another college guy, and it was really hard because we just lived on our own for how many years? 4 years. And it's like, you get out there, I live with like a mom and dad. It's weird.
That's weird.
It was weird. Like you come in at night, you go out one night, you come in kind of. Our games always got over late. We get home from the field till like 11 o'clock at night, and then like everybody's sleeping. And it's like you're trying to be quiet, tiptoeing around. It's just. But when you're making zero money and there's somewhere for you to stay, like you said, home cooking. They did make all kinds of meals for us and stuff, even though it's out in Medicine Hat. They're putting butter on everything, which was the weirdest thing ever. I mean, I remember he's like, I made you a turkey and cheese sandwich with a bunch of butter on it. I'm like, what? Like that's not a thing in Philly. But
so that wasn't on the top of this question for you. What was your favorite? Anything you liked about Medicine Hat? It wasn't
your butter, turkey, and cheese sandwiches.
Yeah, I mean, what I liked about, Medicine Hat, the team. I mean, the team there, it was hilarious because they stacked for a rookie ball team. Like, if you didn't know the way the system was built back then, there was like 4 A-ball teams, really, A-ball, rookie ball, before you even got to Double A. Like there was, and that
and there were a lot of short season teams too, right?
Well, yeah, Medicine Hat was the lowest of the low. I mean, literally, they put 16-year-olds there to go play like you're playing amateur league. Like, I mean, and for me, we had a whole. They stacked the team for some reason. They put all these college guys on the team, which was good for me because I went up being a closer and I got a ton of opportunities. I mean, we had the first half. We had the best half ever, I think, in the history of the Pioneer League. I mean, we were. I don't know. We finished the first half. We finished because we played like 80 games. I think we finished the first half at like, I don't know, 36-4 or something like that. Like it was incredible. Like we didn't lose, but we had like 4 big leaguers on that team, like me, Jay Gibbons, Scott Cassidy, and who am I forgetting? Orlando Hudson. So we were all on that team. And you're talking. I mean, that doesn't happen in rookie ball ever, and none of them were first rounders. I mean, so, But yeah, I think the best thing about Medicine Hat, which is the guys, I'm still keep in touch with all those guys. It's like like I said, the bond you make with these guys. It's you don't. I mean, the only other place I saw it was in college. Really.
So we're approaching the hour. I got to talk a little bit of normal Blue Jays baseball, but if there's anything, Bob, you would like to share before we talk Blue Jay baseball for the last few minutes of the show, we're more than happy to hear it.
The only thing about Blue Jays, because I have kind of. We just talked about a little bit, like with Guerrero signing that extension. I'm curious, like Blue Jay fans, like because having watched the Blue Jays over the years and having been a part of the other side and seeing how they never gave guys long-term contracts, like big time deals. Even Delgado was one of the bigger ones back then, and like Roger Clemens got a pretty decent, but Roger Clemens wasn't that long either. But I always thought
that's the other problem.
Yeah,
so he never lived it out as a Blue Jay fan.
So it's like I always just wonder, like the commitment. I when they didn't sign him in spring, I was like, oh, the Blue Jays will never sign somebody long term like that. It's just the way the business model of being in Canada, getting players. It's tricky behind the scenes, right? Like with all the tax implications for players, like there's a lot of reasons players don't go there. I mean, if they have a choice. So if you can lock somebody up, I'm like homegrown. I'm like, why? You got to do that. You have to. And I'm so glad they did because it makes kind of an exciting. At least an exciting core. You can get the other ones. Like I love Bichette. I love some of the other young guys they have. Like if they can keep that core together, just in terms of getting fans out to the games. But I was sure like Blue Jay fans, is that because there's some pros and cons to sign 14 years. I mean, come on, let's be honest. He's not going to be crushing home runs in 14 years. I don't think. Maybe. I mean,
no, I like it. It gave us direction. Yeah, it gave us direction though. Like that's it. When they signed Vladdy, I'm like, okay, cool. You have a plan. I think you can build around this guy because we kept missing out on free agents, right? We kept missing, and I was like, if we had Vladdy, then maybe we could have scored some of those free agents as well. And like, the thing is, like, we're so happy to have him that we have something to root for. that we don't 10 years, 14 years, doesn't matter. We'll deal with it then. They're the second richest owners in baseball. They can pony up, sign our homegrown. Yes, they are. Next to the Mets and the Blue Jays, because it's Rogers Corporation, right?
Oh, it's still Rogers. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Still Rogers, the whole corporation. So, it's even though it's 14 years, who knows what's going to happen? But it's it's good for the young fan base to have somebody they can root for. It's good for me to have somebody that I can root for and believe in. And it's good for the city of Toronto and Canada to be like, we scored our guy. Our guy stayed with us. Because it was going to look bad.
I will tell you, it's really hard for a free agent to go to Toronto because of all those business reasons. But I will say, as a visiting teams that come into Toronto, every guy I ever played with against, new in the league, their favorite city to go to is Toronto. Hands down. I mean, off the field fun, of course. There's everything. Toronto has everything. From if you want to go to a play, if you want to go to nightlife, you want to party it up, you want to go to a nice restaurant. I mean, it doesn't get any better than Toronto. And every visiting player loves going to Toronto, loves it. So, I mean, but as signing as a free agent, I always see Toronto just barely, who were they going after? Pete Alonso, right? From the Mets. Yeah. I thought they were going to get, and I'm like.
Pick a name lately.
I mean, it's a great park for him to hit in. He would have hit 40, 50 home runs there. Easy. Monster. I mean, the way he hits and the Skydome is, I mean, it's a homer dome. I mean, really, ball flies out of there. But yeah, when they lost out on him, you don't know all the reasons. It's not because he didn't want to go to Toronto. It's probably because of some other reasons. I mean, in terms of tax burden, things like that. There's a lot of things that come in. Kids, he might have kids and have schooling and stuff like that. It becomes difficult.
I think he wanted to stay at Met. I think he was pretty open that he was.
Oh, for sure. Once you're comfortable somewhere, for me, I never wanted to leave Toronto. I mean, I loved it there. But I knew the business side. I was arbitration eligible. I'm I just had a horseshit season where I was hurt half the season. I was like, they're going to just let me go, and it sucked because I was a Super 2, and I was like, oh, if I just stayed down the minor leagues for another 3 weeks, I would have been with Toronto another year. But people never knew that side. I mean, and then I signed away. But it's once you're comfortable, you have coaches that vouch for you. They know you personally. You go to a new organization, nobody knows you, nobody cares about you. If you're somebody on the fringe, in the middle, if you're a superstar player, it's different. But even if you're comfortable, you're comfortable with the fan base, comfortable with all the front office, it's good. So I understand why guys stay. I mean, if you can, especially if you have kids. Now that I have a kid, I can't imagine playing with a kid. It would be really hard to focus and sleep.
Yeah.
Try twins.
No. Nope, I'd be dead.
No.
Oh my God.
And both in baseball at the same time too, bud.
Yeah, right. Man.
2 points. So on that note, that is obviously the biggest news in Blue Jays baseball this past week. The other one is the fact that this team still can't hit a home run to save their life, but we're technically in first place right now. So I know it's early, but I'm not raising a banner yet. But we have taken the red hot Boston Red Sox over the last few days, and it's been very fun to watch. They're scoring runs.
They're scoring runs.
Not with home runs, but that's all that matters. I don't care. Small ball is just as good. And Liz, you hit the nail on the head with the one that is probably the hottest player in Blue Jay baseball right now, and that is Mr. George Springer.
Yeah. Wow.
Old Man River.
I know. I apologize for all the things that we said about George Springer. I've said a lot of mean things, and I will say them again when he gets bad again. Straight up.
There it is. So, but it's been fun to watch over the last week that we've been scoring, we've been hitting, and we are actually I think I said this morning on Jay's latest, was the 4th best hitting team in baseball right now. Just can't bring them around the pillows is the one problem.
Starters good. Starters have been good. Both it's kind of I think we'll hit the dingers. The dingers will heat up, but it's let's get the small ball wins, score runners. Let's just get some wins in there. That is my coach.
How's Hoffman pitching? He's a Philly guy.
Well,
good.
He's a
very
star,
well,
right?
Very well.
Very good. Very. And what
him.
do you guys think about Romano? We just picked him up. I'm watching him pitch. I'm losing my mind. I'm like, this guy, is he hurt?
Because I think he
is hurt.
No, I think
he
he's hurt.
Does not look healthy.
No, I think he's hurt.
Okay. He 2 years ago he started being hurt up here, and then he was okay for the remainder of that year, and then last year he was bad, and I was really surprised when the Phillies picked him up.
Yeah, I watched him a couple hours. They actually gave him a couple closing situations, and I like him. I don't know him personally, but I see him in some post game stuff, and I like the way he handles himself and the way he presents himself. It seems like a pretty good guy. Like you can tell, right? Like because all the canned questions. So I kind of feel for him. I'm like, I wonder if he's hurting out there because having been myself being hurt on the field in the big leagues and trying to say you're not is really challenging to do because you get exposed quickly.
And
in many ways.
You might have actually had some of the similar problems. I believe he actually was out most of the last season was because of back issues, wasn't it, guys?
Yeah.
Wait, Bob. At what point do you lie about being hurt, and then do you have to fess about it? Like, how far?
Every time.
For me, I wish I brought it up earlier before my shoulder surgery in 2002. I mean, I was an idiot. Like I should have said something because I tried to pitch. I'll never forget. I was facing Boston in Toronto, and I gave up. Like I used to own Manny Ramirez, and he's just hitting balls off the wall. I'm getting hit around. I'm like, what am I doing right now? This is not good. This is not helping anybody. It's not helping me. Knowing what I know now, it's like I would have said something way sooner and just said, listen, I should be on the IL right now. I shouldn't be pitching. And I tried to tough it out. I tried to come back from injury too quickly. Things like that you don't know any better as a 24-year-old or 25-year-old. Now I know I should just got some more service time out of it.
There it is. So anyways, Bob, we're at the hour, but I do have one comment here that I just can't help but have some fun with here. One of our fans doesn't quite imagine O-Dog being in Medicine Hat with you at all. Is that a lie?
It's so funny because O-Dog, like Orlando, everybody got to know him as his personality, right? Like, and that kind of really, you either loved him and he roomed with Scott Cassidy in Medicine Hat, and me and Scott became like best friends. We're still close today. So I got to know Orlando really well. Like I knew Orlando off the field. Orlando, like there was two personalities there. There was the showman, and then there was Orlando off the field. He's like a genuine sweet guy. Like I mean, really good, like church going, very very religious guy, like very down there. And then you see him on the field, and he's like, "What is going on here?" Like when he first got to the big league, I remember guys were like, "Who is this guy?" Like in Toronto, they were like, "What is going on here?" But the guy could play. I mean, he was a 50 some odd round draft pick and he signed as a free agent. He couldn't run at all. He was the slowest guy. He ran like a 7.4 60. He was so slow, but he made himself look fast. And he was a Gold Glove second baseman. He turned out to be. Like, I mean, it goes to show you, like he was not even close to being the most talented on the field. Not even close. And he made himself that. The guy worked harder than anybody on the field. But yeah, no, in Medicine Hat, he was Orlando wasn't a crazy guy off the field at all. He was a real kind of homebody. He didn't go out. He didn't do anything. But he was kind of like, I always compare him like Roy Halladay was the same way. Like it just kind of stayed in his shell. Kind of baseball was business, and but he comes off like in the media, like when he was playing, like he was this wild, like O-Dog, crazy. But he was pretty timid than what people knew of him on the field.
Yeah, 43rd round draft pick was Orlando Hudson. Yep. Oh my God! I would have never even known that unless you told me that and looked it up.
Yeah, we were just like all the people go to get released in Medicine Hat. That's where Jay Gibbons was another one. He was a Division II baseball player too, and we became tight. And that guy gets Rule 5 and played how many years in the big league? So yeah, it's but baseball is the one sport you do get an opportunity. You can make the most of it if you do, for sure. Mm. Interrupting your Toronto talk. What other Toronto talk?
That's
good. But anyway, Jason, you got time to get your picks to click in before your pick for this week?
100,000,000%. My son, I have twins. Obviously,
did I win with
my one son is the first grade 8 to make his high school golf team ever, and so he's got his first match today, and so. I don't want him to see that I'm watching because I think he'll get nervous, but I got to run and hide in the bushes on this. If you ever get out here, Bob, we've got some of our Muni golf courses are like world renowned. Like this one's all through these mountains and stuff. Like people come out here from the US or from other places and they're like, these are your Munis. Like this is a regular public golf course.
In your Vancouver, you said?
Yeah.
Vancouver? Is that what Oh yeah. Beautiful out there.
Yeah, it's so I'm going to watch him. So I got to get out of here. But yeah, I'll give you my picks to click for sure. I can't let down the people.
Yeah, party people. So last week Liz had Bo, you had Will Wagner, I had George Springer, and then our guest spot we had Alejandro Kirk. So I think I won. Did I win? George Springer?
Think about that.
No.
So guest always goes first. So this game that we play every week, Bob, is for bragging rights amongst the group and our guests. Who's going to have the best week in Blue Jays baseball from today until our next show next Wednesday? So the question would be, who would you pick? Are you just going to go with the 14-year guy?
He's going to pick a
no,
pitcher.
right? That's what I was going to say. I mean, I would. Yeah. Who else did I see is having a good year there? That Kirk kid. I mean, he's the thick kid, right? The lefty.
Yeah.
Is he that lefty?
Yep.
Yeah.
Love.
Is he a catcher?
Beef.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I like him. Did you just
Bob.
pick him? I think you just said yeah.
Bob,
No,
do you know what his
I
nickname
actually
is?
had him last week. Go ahead.
His nickname is Maple Beef.
Shocker. Is he from Canada?
No, he's Mexican. From Mexico City.
I heard Maple. I think of Maple syrup.
Well, that's what they call him, Maple Beef.
But he's our catcher.
That's hilarious.
He's our catcher. That's our guy, man. Let's go.
Hey, man, I like that kid. He plays
Who
well.
also just got an
He gets
extension.
after it.
Yeah, he got an
There you
extension.
He just got an extension.
Did he? Good.
2030.
It was weird.
He'll be a Blue Jay until 2030.
Yeah, it's been a weird extension week in Jays Land.
Who's the starting
like
pitcher that's
Joe
having a
usually
good
had
year? Who's your number one? Gossman? Is that
Yep.
right? Gossman? Look at that.
He's
I know my
definitely
Blue
one of our
Jays.
best. Barrios, Gossman, Chris Bassett's been on fire so far this season. So
Oh my God, he's
it's
still
been
pitching.
fun.
He's been around for a while. I feel like I heard that name
doing really
20
well.
years ago. I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, he's been around forever. Wow, good for him.
So, but yeah, who are you thinking, Bob?
I mean,
Yeah,
I
hold
like
up your
Kirk.
best spot. Are
I'll
you
go with
thinking Kirk?
Bichette. I think Bichette.
Gonna go Bo?
Yeah, he's
Gotcha.
he's hot and cold. He'll go off on a run. This
He's
week.
been pretty hot lately. You're gonna ride him.
I know. I saw that today. Actually, when I looked, I didn't see that today.
He's been eating up the Red Sox. So, Jason, seeing you got to go, I'm gonna let you go next. What you got?
I've been going back and forth on this one because I've kind of been liking picking the guys who aren't the norms. But I feel like deal signed, first full week. I'm going Vladdy. I think I got to.
There.
Might be an early one to go to Vladdy, but I'm gonna. I feel like he's gonna ride that contract and have a big monster week.
Mind
Monster week.
stands thinking about money.
Yes.
Liz, your turn.
George Springer apology tour. I'm picking Springer.
There you go. And I'm gonna take the rookie because he's got at least one more solid week before Varsho comes back completely. I'm gonna go with Alan Roden.
Yeah, good call. That's who I was gonna take.
I like him. I've seen him a lot here in Buffalo.
Oh, they're in
So,
Buffalo. That's right. I always forget they're in
Yeah.
Buffalo
Yeah,
now. That's
so-
right.
Yeah, that's the difference of it's not. Correct me if I'm wrong. It was Vegas a little bit right after you got promoted.
Mhm.
Yeah, that must have been a fun time.
Yeah, I never played in Vegas. I was always in
Good
Syracuse.
for you because then
Syracuse.
at least you didn't have the 9 billion year commute back and forth like Mike McCoy did every other week. It seemed like.
Oh my God! The amount of times I went up and down for Syracuse with rehab and all this. Oh my God! It was only a 4-hour drive, so it was not bad. Buffalo's better. That's even better. It's even closer, right? I think 2 hours.
Yeah, that's a match made in heaven in baseball right there.
Yeah,
You can get 'em
that's
fast.
Great. Yeah, that's great. Rainbow Bridge, right? Is that no? That's Detroit. Is that
Ambassador?
Buffalo? I forget.
Is it
Yeah.
Ambassador?
Oh, it's yeah. So,
Yeah.
but anyway, Bob, tell the Blue Jays fans where they could find you before we wrap up here and how much fun you're having.
Well, man, I mean, I guess you can find me on Twitter. Well, X, it's called now, right? X. It's just my handle is Bob File, and the same thing on Instagram. You have to request me on Instagram. I have a lot of big following on Instagram, but I am private account because some wackos are out there, even to anyone.
Liz being a collectible knows all too well about that one.
Yeah, don't. Just be cool. Just be cool.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, right. Yeah, I know. Yeah, those two are the best places. Yeah, X is great because me and Fry linked up about during COVID. Like we always kept in touch, but like when he started doing those videos, he just put one out today. If you haven't seen it yet,
Yeah,
It's
Jeff
great.
Price is supposed to be in
check it out.
town. He's
We
in
like
town
him.
in like 2 weeks. I'm gonna go see him at a signing. And anyway,
Steiner, who's buying his autograph?
I know. I'm gonna go say what's up. Gruber's there. I need Gruber to sign a thing.
Oh,
for me.
that's why the whole
Mhm.
cycle connection
Mhm.
there.
It's a
That's
cycle.
why
the cycle. The
he's just
cycle.
soaking it all up, taking full advantage of that.
Yeah,
I
he's
was
just
at
like
that-
I've
I'll never
never
forget
met
that game.
Gruber. They connect us, but I've never met him. And I was like, well, you're gonna.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, that's great. He's gonna be in. That's awesome.
That's his shtick.
Go.
Those guys are the cycle guys.
Yeah. I know. When he held up at first, he takes all the slack about that. When he
Yeah.
held up at first on that double.
Oh,
with the
he
gap.
told a great story about that whole thing, and
I was there.
he's not wrong.
I'll never forget it.
Stop.
No, I jammed. I
Everybody
was
told
like,
him to stop.
I told him I was like, nobody gives a pitcher a hard time for trying to get a no hitter, right? Then they shouldn't have jammed you for
Yeah,
like
I mean,
going for the cycle. Like,
I mean, if he doesn't get the cycle, nobody remembers him at all ever.
Exactly.
At Toronto, but now he gets remember he gets the signings now because of that stopping. I mean, I would have stopped.
Before he played in Toronto, he was a Red Sox every card I ever picked up out of any baseball cards.
I know. And he played that whole year hurt in Toronto, by the way. Like, he was badly injured. Like, his knee was all ripped up, which is, a testament to him. He was a tough little guy, I call him. Little guy. Nice. Yeah, he's what, 5'3", I think. I think he listed at 5.
Man, he makes me feel tall.
So when you see him, tell him he's shorter than you thought he would be. Just tell him I said that. Yeah.
People love it when you say that. Yes.
He will. Stays from me.
I will.
All those times he harassed me for a whole year. I was like, I owe him.
I will send that message.
So you got to get in the punches when you can, right?
That's right. Yeah. I'm taller than him.
All right. Any parting words from the other members here?
Are we I do. Actually, go, Jason.
I'm all good.
Okay, I do. So I am on Steel City Collectibles. I'm doing a card break. I don't know anything about baseball cards outside of being one from that one time. So you're going to hear me say really great things such as, I don't know who that man is, and isn't that card shiny? So tune in this Friday, Friday at 8. I'll be featured on a Steel City Collectible break.
Ooh,
cool. Let's go.
Good deal. And I was trying to bring up our calendar because we have like a full calendar for once. So Scotty Belford's going to be on next week. That's what it was. Our buddy from the Walk Off podcast is going to be on talking all things about his live event at the Comedy Club, not terribly far from where you live, Liz.
Nope.
Having a live baseball town event. So there's going to be that fun there. So that makes you tune into that and join, or, get some tickets from our buddy Scott. He'll be here Wednesday to promo that because I believe it's next Thursday or Friday. I can't remember which.
It's coming up.
So it's next coming up. So anyways, until then, Blue Jays fans, Bob, you're welcome to hang out for a second afterwards if you want. But Blue Jays fans, make sure you listen in live every Wednesday. It's normally our 7 o'clock Eastern time. That is what we will be back to next week with our buddy Scott Belfort of the Walk Off podcast. Make sure you tune in wherever you can get your podcasting pleasures from. If you missed us during those live shows, we are here. We are ready to talk on the barroom chat that is Jaybird Watching. Thank you, Blue Jays fans. Cheers and have a great evening.
Thank you for listening to the Jaybird Watching podcast. Please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch at BirdWatchingGC, and our YouTube channel. If you want to support the show and get extra content, please consider joining to our Patreon at patreon.com/BirdWatchingGC. Go Jays, go.
Woo!